Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old schoolhouse here in the hamlet of Butterstone in Perthshire in Scotland for another one of our wee half-hour concerts. And I'd like to welcome you all. It's been lovely weather at the moment outside, but I have a wee problem. I've been doing a wee bit of work on my wee Ferguson tractor, and I've broken all my fingernails. So it'll be a kind of a very soft, sort of gentle guitar thing happening tonight. Anyway, I thought I would start. Well, yeah, please welcome to the stage the wonderful Tatty Faces, who've been a big help with me in the garden just the last 2 or 3 days. And I thought I'd start off. I'm just kind of randomly picking songs from my kind of archive, and I've done this one before, and I'll probably have told the story before. But I noticed that there's quite a lot of Australians and people from New Zealand watching, so I thought I would do this wee song. And I wrote it after visiting a town called MacLean up in northern New South Wales, and it was an amazing town. It was on this great big river called the Clarence River. And it was mainly Scottish people that had settled this, and settled at that area. And I was just trying to imagine. I read some books, and the people had arrived over on a ship called the George Fife, and they called it the Journey of Tears because it was a terrible trip. Seemingly a lot of people died and that, And I was just imagining these poor Scottish people arriving in northern New South Wales with the heat and this big river, this Clarence River. When it flooded like 20 feet, 20 metres, 30 metres. It was just huge compared to the kind of floods that we might experience here. And the river was full of really bad things like crocodiles and bad spiky fish and just to kind of the horror for these poor folk, and they were told they would get land, and when they arrived there, it was just bush, and they had to clear the bush before they did anything and build, and they could only grow sugar cane, so for folk that were used to kind of growing potatoes, they have to grow sugar cane. Anyway, I wrote this song when I was there, and so we'll try it now and see how we go on. It's called Big River, and here's a wee thing. Don't wait for me to tell you to join in with the chorus. If you hear anything at all that sounds suspiciously like a chorus, just help yourself. Oh, we couldn't be farther from home. Oh no, what's left of a journey of tears. Oh, we cry like the Carlu, oh Christ save our souls, help hold our fears. And it couldn't be darker than this. Oh no, even with so much light in the sky. But the sun burns forever, we can't find the shade, though we try and we try. So big river, don't fool me, I'm depending upon a sign. I'm relying upon your motion to carry these cares of mine. And big river, we're helpless, and we bend to your every turn, and not even our courage can help us. As the big river runs on and on, as the big river runs on and on and on. To clear this bush will take a whole life, I'm sure. even the lives of my sons. But we dream of a harvest, and oh how we'll feast when it finally comes. And when sugar cane blows with the wind, we'll think on that journey of tears, and the murdering hold of the hellish George Fife will fade with the years. So big river, don't fool me, I'm depending upon a sign, I'm relying upon your motion to carry these cares of mine. Big river, we're helpless, and we bend to your every turn, and not even our courage can help us. As the big river runs on and on, as the big river runs on and on and on. Maybe you can sing it with me, we'll do it one more time, yeah. Big river, don't fool me, I'm depending upon a sign, I'm relying upon your motion to carry these cares of mine. And big river, we're helpless, and we bend to your every turn, not even our courage can help us. As the big river runs on and on, as the big river runs on and on, as the big river runs on and on and on. Thank you very much, and that was my song Big River about the wee town of MacLean and the big Clarence River up there. And I'm assuming that you're applauding in front of your laptops or your iPhones, or if you're clever, if you're smart enough, you've got it in your big telly or whatever, you know. Anyway, we're going to continue with this wee song, and this is a song that I wrote for my mum, who we'll be watching tonight. She's 86 and she's down in Burnham, in Dunkeld. And I don't think she's missed one of she's my biggest fan. And I don't think she's missed one of the 84 shows that I've done. And I've done this song before, but for those, I'll just grab another guitar. Yep. And but I'll tell you the wee story about it before. My mother's called Dolina, and I think that's it's Gaelic for... It's the female version of Donald Aina, I think it is Donald Aina, I think it was Dolina. Anyway, but she was the youngest of 9 children and grew up in Tenalt in Argyllshire, Kilcrennan. And she was telling me this is a number of years ago. She was telling me how, you know, her mother had died when she was 14, and she had to kind of look after the family, the older brothers and the older sisters, as they were all out kind of working and stuff and that. And then one day my grandfather came to her and he said he couldn't keep her anymore at home, and that she'd have to go and get work. And one of her sisters had gone to Glasgow and was working in a tea factory somewhere in the Gorbals in Glasgow. And so my mum headed down there. But And I was, because they were pretty rural people, and my mother would spend most of her time outside. And in the song, I use a term, hill run, which is a term that we would use for sort of like rural people, people that spent a lot of time out in the woods or up on the moors. Somebody you could say, oh, he's very hill run, I mean, kind of. And I used that line because I was just imagining the horror of having to go from Tinnill all the way into Glasgow and then work in a tea factory and some kind of conveyor belts and noise and everything and that. And she had a flat in the Gorbals. Anyway, luckily my father, who she had met when they were younger, had went down, grabbed her and took her back up to Perthshire, actually up to Butterstone here, and she escaped. But it was the same for lots of Highland girls. They all ended up having to go down into the big city to work because there was no kind of work for them, and the kind of shock, the shock to the system, and it must have been a lot of sadness. Anyway, I wrote this song for Mum, and that's how we go and see how we go on. It was for Mum and all the Highland girls. And you can sing the chorus of this as well. They came down to the merchant city with a privileged life and poverty kills. Came a long road of pain and pity. Oh, where's the sense for a Highland girl? Delina, like a little child. Delina, with these dreams to fill. Delina, hill run and wild. Oh, where's the sense for a Highland girl? Oh, the factory's hard, it takes more and more. It's no exchange for the curlew's song or the buzzard's cry as it soars and soars in your family's arms when it all feels wrong. Delina, like a little child. Delina, with these dreams to fill. Delina, hill run and wild. Oh, where's the sense for a Highland girl? She could have met fine young soldier. She could have taken the rich man's hand. She could have let the devil hold her. She could have left for some distant land. But she came down to the garden valley, tend the earth with a countryman. They never held more than they could carry, and the children grew to understand. Delina, like a little child. Delina, with these dreams to fill. Delina, wild. Where's the sense for a Highland girl? You can sing it when they want. Delina, like a little child. Delina, with these dreams to fill. Delina, he'll run and wild. Where's the sense for a Highland girl? Thank you very much, and that's my wee song for my mum, Delina. And I hope hope you enjoyed that, Mum. And I'll be getting tomorrow. I'll be getting. Well, that's not how the story went. That wasn't. I didn't do. Anyway, she's called Delina MacLean, and if she's put a message on during the show, go up and go and say hello to her, because she's on her own down in but she's brilliant. She's made a very sturdy stuff, and the whole lockdown thing has been she's been brilliant during the whole thing. So, but go and leave her a wee message and freak her out a wee bit. But anyway, I'm going to do another song. This is another wee song with a chorus, and this came from a time when I was pretty disillusioned with everything, and I've got to do a wee bit of a juggling act to get the guitars here. And I get one of the things that goes with having a lot of enthusiasm is that you also get very disillusioned very very easily, or you know, you can't times anyway. So this song came out of that. Because I just went, I'm just going to hide in my garden. I'm just going to everything's just too much. I'm just going to hide in my garden, and because that's a place that I know, and I'm comfortable there. And so I wrote this song. I'm going to have a wee mouthful of this of Nigel's port here, just to. Anyway, so. And so the chorus of this is easy. You're saying, I'll disappear over the garden wall. Everything's clear over the garden wall. The sun shines brightly each and every day. It chases my troubles away. Okay, so I'll disappear. And it's a kind of I'll disappear over the garden wall. Everything's clear over the garden wall. The sun shines brightly each and every day. It chases my troubles away. And we'll play it on my little. I've got a wee bit of a tuning problem here. I've got a tuner here, so I'm just going to take a few seconds just to tweak this. It's. We're going to get some wonderful 5-part harmony from the Tatty Faces in this song. So, how did it come to this? They broke every rule. Now it's everyone's failure and everyone's fool. Oh, how could it all so fast come tumbling down? Now it's everyone's failure and everyone's clown. and let me make myself clear. I'll disappear over the garden wall. Everything's clear over the garden wall. And the sun shines brightly each and every day. It chases my troubles away. That's what you sing when we all try together. This is, okay, here we go. I'll disappear over the garden wall. Everything's clear over the garden wall. And the sun shines brightly each and every day. It chases our troubles away. We said that we'd overcome the guilt and the fear. Oh, and sister and brother would hold each other near. This land would be yours, and oh, this land would be mine. But these dreams scattered empty and distant in time. And let me make myself clear. I'll disappear over the garden wall. Everything's clear over the garden wall. And the sun shines brightly each and every day. Oh, it chases my troubles away. Okay, this is where you sing it on your own. Are you ready? Here we go. Make a bit of noise. Make a bit of global noise. Here we go. I'll disappear sounds fantastic. I'm getting the vibe here in the old schoolhouse in Butterstone here. I'm getting the global singing vibe. So much so I think we should do it again with some harmonies and things. And, okay guys, we'll do it again, yeah? With harmonies, okay, on your own again. I'll disappear. will disappear over the garden wall. Everything's clear over the garden wall. And the sun shines brightly each and every day. It chases my troubles away. Well done, well done. I can feel it here in the school here. In fact, we've renamed the old school here. We now call it a global streaming theatre. Because it's a theatre vibe. And for those of you who've just joined us, this is the wee one-room village school that would have serviced all the kind of rural kids around Butterstone. And it's a school that I went to when I was a wee boy. This was the first school I went to. It was just a one teacher and like about 40 kids. And it's the same school that my father went to school in here in the 1930s, and he got all his schooling in this room here. And it's wonderful now that, you know, we've been doing these, this is number 84, and we've been doing these broadcasts from the school during this kind of crisis. And people are singing from all around the world from this wee old school here. And my father learned to write on a slate with a piece of chalk, you know. And then here we are broadcasting to the entire planet from here. So it's brilliant. And so well done. And I'm going to do this wee song just to finish off. I'm running out of space here. Okay. We'll grab this guitar. And the reason I have all these guitars is because I use lots of different weird tunings, and it saves me having to tune them while we're doing the show. And this, I spend a lot of time up on the west coast of the island of Lewis, out in the Outer Hebrides, and in fact I have a wee house out there, and it's right next to the beach where they discovered in I think it was in the 1800s, I think it was, the Lewis chessmen. And they're one of the most valuable archaeological artifacts in the UK, or maybe even in the world. They believe they were kind of 11th century chess pieces, and there was a storm, and it opened up this little kind of box or this little place, and there was the chess pieces from about 4 different chess pieces and chess sets and bits of buckles and all ivory, and they're absolutely amazing. And I was fascinated by it. I've always been fascinated by them because they're the most miserable looking characters you've ever seen in your life. The Queen's got her head in her hands like this, you know, and the wee guys on the back of the horses are looking really pissed off, you know, and so when I was imagining these wee characters, you know, because nobody knows where they came from, and I was imagining these wee characters marching up the beach in Uig, you know, kind of going, you know, and wondering what kind of adventure they were on and what mischief they were up to, because they're kind of bad-looking wee pieces, you know. Anyway, I've got a proper replica set of them. For those of you who've never seen them, you probably recognise them when you see them, but I'll try and show you. See if we can get the camera to let you see. There they are there. See, there's the Queen with her head in her hands, looking really pissed off, you know. And there's the beautiful wee horseman, you know, the beautiful, and you know the back of the king it's all beautifully carved. And they were carved out of walrus tusks, they believe. And actually, if you get the proper replica set, which haven't been, they're all different sizes. If you hold them a certain way, you can actually see where they chopped the walrus tusk up to make the different pieces. So the king's huge, but they get smaller as they get to the point of the walrus tusk. Anyway, I wrote this song just imagining imagining them, I had this kind of idea that they should be dangerous little things to kind of handle when you saw them marching up the beach. So we'll try it. It's called Marching Mysteries. Now I want you to try and imagine these little characters marching up the beach in Ureg. Wonder what they were up to. Can you see them yet? From ship to shining shore, out of an age when time was young, across the silver ocean's floor, their endless battle has begun. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching on. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching, marching, marching mystery. She holds her weary head, her heavy horsemen stand alone. It's for the living and the dead to search their fortune far from home. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching on. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching, marching, marching mystery. There is majesty, there is tragedy, all in its place. Rank and file, every turning and moving space, on paths of black and gold. They come with tales too dark to speak, but the fascination holds. It compels us on to search and seek. They burned upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching on. They burn upon the open hand, blinding all who see. They feast upon the desert land, marching, marching, marching mystery. Thank you very much. That's my bizarre song, Marching Mystery, about the Lewis chessmen. And it's funny, I remember one time I was up there with my dear friend Davy Duncan, and we were walking along the beach, and there was the bones of an old sheep or something coming out of the sand dunes, and Davy said, "Oh, look, there's the Lewis chess player." Well, I thought it was funny anyway. But anyway, that brings us to the end of our wee half an hour Saturday night, and I hope you're all well. Hope you're all looking after each other. Hope you're all staying cheery, and the weather's helping. Things are looking good over here now in the UK, and everything's starting to slowly kind of unwind a little bit. But I always like to spend this wee bit of time just thanking all the folk that have been working for the last year at the sharp end of all this, all the NHS workers and all the care workers and all the teachers and people that are working in the supermarkets and that have managed to get us all through this last year of craziness, and then take a few minutes just to think about all the terrible things that are happening in India. I mean, that's just quite heartbreaking, and so we must be aware that this thing's not over until everything's fixed. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you all next week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy your week. The weather's looking good. It's going to start to get a wee bit. I'll just get my wee port and wee toast. So stay cheery. Smile like a tatty face, which is our new slogan here in Butters. Because the one thing about the tatty faces, I've never seen them not sad. They've always got a fantastic smile. They're always just happy. They're always cheery. So I'll see you next week, and you all take care of each other. And Aikava, and I'll see you further on. Bye bye.